For the last video in this lesson, we're going to explore a few hole-making tool paths, specifically called circle mill and helix bore. We'll start with circle mill. I'm going to focus on this area right here, and just like we did with drilling, I'm going to hold down the control key and select this solid hole. Now, holding down the control key will select the matching radius, so if there were any other holes that had the same radius, it would also select them as well. But by doing this, it identifies the top and the bottom. And in this case, it's very important because it also identifies the radius. And you'll see that in the next step here. So in the circle mill toolpath, let's choose, for example, tool number 10, which is a 1/2 inch flat end mill, and I'll call this circle mill. And you'll notice that it sees the diameter of the tool. And this has always been here. However, under our cut parameters, since I'm in circle mill, it notices the circle diameter of the actual geometry. And if I wanted to, I could override this, but since this is a solid model and I want to cut right to this, I'm not going to override it. So it knows that this circle is 1.18 inches in diameter. I'm going to make sure I have nothing left on the walls and the floors. And the start angle is chosen as to how it would start into this circle. And we can adjust that if needed. I'm going to choose roughing and finishing. For the roughing, we'll turn it on and we'll do a 50% step over. And we will do a helical entry, and we can always change this. So let's accept the defaults for now. Under the finishing section, I can turn that on and choose how we want to finish this part. I'm going to add one finish pass at a spacing of 0.05. I'll also keep tool down to minimize any extra motion. On the transitions tab, we can choose how we want to enter in and exit off of the part. Let's turn on lead in, lead out, and we'll accept the defaults right here. And here we'll start at the center. I'm not going to worry about depth cuts because it doesn't seem like we're going very deep, but obviously if we needed to, we could turn that on. And under tool axis control, we're going to keep this the way it is. We haven't really explored this too much, but we're going to keep the tool axis output to 3 axes. Under linking parameters, just like before, we know the top of the hole and we know the bottom of the hole because we selected the solid hole. And we're going to choose to utilize those values by having this turned on. So let's click OK, and let's take a look and see how this comes out. So when I backplot this, it's going to helix in, and then it's going to just work its way out to the outside. So this is your roughing. And then it's going to remain down and come in and finish. And then pull up. So it roughed going down, it finished the wall, and then it retracted. The next option, besides using circle mill, is to use a toolpath called helix bore. And as the description says here, machines a hole using a helical motion based on a single point. Roughing passes are created as you cut down the hole. And specifically, we can set it so finishing happens on the way up the hole. So let's choose helix bore. And I'm going to hold down the control key and select this particular hole again. And again, we could have copied the other toolpath, but we're just going to select the geometry again. Go into tool. I'm going to choose the same tool. I'll call this helix bore. And under the cut parameters, you'll notice, let's again change these to 0. Under my rough finish, I'm going to enter a rough pitch here, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to tell it to helix upwardly to finish. We'll check out linking parameters one last time, and we'll respect the same values as before, and we'll click OK. So now let's look at this toolpath compared to the other one. The circle mill looked like that. The helix bore has additional helix motion. So we rough going down. We work its way to the outside. And then we finish coming up. So as you can see, under the 2D group within the Toolpaths tab, under Homemaking, we explored drill and we explored circle mill and helix bore. We have some other options as well, which are beyond the scope of this course, but as you can see, they're based on points or solid entities, and just like any other toolpath, you select the geometry and then you input your parameters to get your desired toolpath results. In this next lesson, we'll explore the option of transforming toolpaths, which moves and patterns your toolpaths.